Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome into my little man cave here. Some of you are going to know me as Paler. Others of you might know me as Epic Fail Gaming. The vast majority of you are going to have no idea who I am, but that's okay. Welcome anyways. So today I want to put together, today we have a little video log going on here in which I have two things I want to discuss. One is going to be about the gaming channel. One is going to be about a new channel I am creating. You can guess from the title of the video what the channel is going to be about. Let's get the gaming one out of the way first because that one's very quick. In terms of gaming, most of you are here for Star Citizen content, and it is going to come. I'm just waiting on 3.0. I've said this in my last Star Citizen video, and I'll say it in any other ones that I talk about it. Just waiting on 3.0. Hopefully we're looking 2-3 weeks, but we've been looking 2-3 weeks for 3-4 months now. So we don't know. But when it does eventually happen, there will be significant Star Citizen coverage, probably about one video a week, and in some cases, maybe more. That will happen. In the short term, in terms of video game coverage, the webcam now is going to be used in conjunction with those boxes there, which are the Oculus Rift boxes, as I'm going to cover some Oculus Rift games, starting off, not games, but covering the hardware itself. So this Saturday, I think right now, my Saturday schedule is open, so I'm going to sit down, I'm going to cover the hardware itself, my thoughts, impressions on it. That video should go up on either Saturday or either Sunday or Monday if I record it on Saturday. And then from there on, now that I have this camera, I can do games like Robo Recall, where you can see me walking around in my little VR area here behind me, and it will match up with the gameplay, and it'll give a better impression of what the gameplay is like and some better ideas on it. So that's the thought process there. That's going to be what's happening with the game channel. Just kind of waiting on Star Citizen. Okay, now for the main thing that I want to talk about here today. That is the creation of a new channel, a channel that is going to be focused around trying to create healthy lifestyles around video games, being a healthy video gamer. So I've gone through this process up and down for the last 12 years now, and well, let's start about 5 years ago. Right now, if you look at me, I said start 5 years ago, but we're going to start right now. If you look at me, you can tell I'm a bigger guy, but maybe not quite as big as I really am. It's got a little bit right here and everything, but I'm actually 290 pounds. That's pretty damn big. Let's be completely honest. That's damn near, well, not damn near, that is obese. And I'm 6 feet tall. So 6 feet, 290 pounds right now. Actually, as of this morning, it was 290.4. 5 years ago, though, I was 350 pounds. The worst I've ever seen the scale was 348. And I'm pretty sure that was probably 350, 351, 352 at some point. I didn't see it. Well, over the last 5 years, over 4 years, from that point on, when I saw that number on the scale, and I really should have seen it before, yeah, you can go ahead and give me all the shit that I should never have let and got that bad. I 100% agree. But after seeing that, I started out two things. I started out heavy cardio exercise. So at first it was 1 day on, 1 day off, every other day. Then it was 2 days on, 1 day off in order to recover. And as I built up my endurance, I eventually got to the point where I was 3 days on, 1 day off. So 3 days of workout, 1 day of recovery. And this worked pretty well. I was putting in 10 to 15 hours. They were normally 90-minute exercise, 90-minute workouts, sometimes 2 hours, depending on the weather and what time I got started, if I wanted to go a little bit further, or if I knew I was going to have a few extra calories with my dinner. I was directly using my workouts to offset my food intake. So I was also on, while doing this, I was on at first a 2100 calorie diet, then a 2000, and then a 1900 calorie diet. So I would go out and say, get home from work 4:30, I'd be like, okay, so far today I've consumed 1700 calories, and for dinner I'm looking to have this, which is like 500 calories. So that's going to put me over. So I'm going to have to do some extra workout. And this is kind of why the numbers would fluctuate a little bit. So rather than work out for 90 minutes, I'd maybe go for 2 hours, 2.5 hours in order to more than compensate for that food I was going to be taking in. And that was kind of how I did it. And for a long while, that worked. I went from 350. I pretty quickly got down to 310 over the course of about 3 months. I kind of plateaued at 310, got down to about 290, plateaued again, got down to 270. Eventually, I got down to 260 pounds over the course of two and a half years to get down to that 260 pounds. Unfortunately, when I hit 260, I didn't just plateau. I plateaued into a wall. It just stopped. I never saw, at least I don't think I can remember ever seeing 259, 258. It was always 260 to 262 on the scale. And I'm a very stubborn, hard-headed person. So what did I do? I doubled down. I went from 1,900 calories to 18 to 1,700. I went from 15 hours of exercise a week to 18 to 22. And never got through it. Just no matter how much I threw myself at it, I could not break down. I couldn't get below that 260. I was seeing dietitian. I saw my doctor regularly. They were doing blood work. Everything looked fine. And their recommendation was cut calories, exercise. cut fat too. Cut fat, cut calories, exercise. Like, all right, I'm already doing 15, 18, 20 hours a week, sometimes more. What more do you want from me? And that went on for about 2 years before I burned out. After 2 years of being right there at that same one point, I had no more emotionally left, no more willpower to throw at it. And then for about the last year now, it's been since about Thanksgiving of last year, so just under a year. Maybe it was a little bit before Thanksgiving. It would have been when my great niece was born. So a little over a year, so probably about 14 months now. Just fell off the train. I was just out of willpower. And over that time, I've gone back up to now the 290 pounds. I've put back on 30 pounds, give or take, in a little over a year. That's pretty bad. Until we sit here today. So what does all this have to do with healthy living as a gamer? Well, after a year, 14 months, give or take, I am ready to go again. I am ready to go pretty darn hard, too. My willpower is back. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling energized, and I am ready to start kicking ass again. And this time I'm getting below that 260. I'm getting down to 210 minimum. But I'm doing it differently. So, I've done a bunch of research over the last few weeks. And the big thing through the 4 years that I spent doing that really wore my willpower down, was I was regularly hungry, if not famished. I would, when my food would finally get in front of me, when I'd finally sit down to eat dinner at like 6:30 at night, I would inhale it because I was so hungry. I was always hungry. I'd get up in the morning, I'd have a coffee, a Greek yogurt, and maybe a bagel. And by the time I got to lunch, I was so hungry. I was ravenous. And to live where you're constantly hungry, you're always ravenous, that's real tough to do. That's why a lot of diets fail. You're just constantly in that state. So I had to find something different that would work for me. And what I've come across, what I've been trying to do by looking at my symptoms, my genetics profile of some sort, my lifestyle, it's a combination of a keto diet and intermittent fasting. Now, I'm not going to go into all the science here today. We just don't have time. I don't want the video to get that long. But the essential point of it is your body can burn two different types of fuel. It can either burn sugar as fuel, and sugar is straight up your gummy bears, your fruit type things, but it is also carbohydrates. When you eat something, pasta, dough, bread, whatever, it gets converted over into simple sugars, which are then burned as sugars. Your body will burn that as fuel. Or it can burn fat. Now, fat doesn't break down with insulin the same way sugar does into the cell. You need to convert it over first. In order to convert it over, you need to create ketones. Ketones then work with the fat through a process called ketosis, which burns the fat as energy. The problem is, if you take in, it's not really a problem, but with how we work internally within our organs, if too much of your diet is sugars and carbs, which are also sugars, that your body can run more than 50, 60, 70%, it depends on the person, on just those sugars, it doesn't bother to make the ketones. You have to be without carbohydrates and without sugars for a certain window before ketone production starts happening. So if you are on a low calorie diet, but you have a lot of extra fat inside of you and everything, but on that low calorie diet, you're still eating carbohydrates, and you say you're doing one of those ones where you eat 6 times a day. So you get up, you have a little bit, and there's going to be carbs in that. Then you have a little bit more 3 hours later, a little bit more 3 hours later. Your body's constantly saying, well, I don't need to make ketones because I'm using these sugars. I'm using the carbohydrates and the sugars. Boom, 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 boom. At most, what may happen is if you finish eating, say, 8 o'clock at night, around 4 or 5 in the morning, you might make a little bit of ketones for a few hours before you get up and have your first meal. So for a lot of people, there's only this 3 to 5 hour window early in the morning where they're making ketones. So you have a very small window you're burning that fat. A keto diet is focused around lower those carbs, lower that sugar, so it doesn't make enough of your diet that your body has to constantly be producing the ketones. So you're constantly burning fat. You will burn a little bit of carbs, you will burn a little bit of sugar, they're going to be in your vegetables and everything else you eat, but it's not enough for your body to come out of that ketone producing environment. That's the whole focus on it. The reason this is important, the reason this has to do with the hunger before, is when you're on the carb high diet, when your body runs out of sugar, it's burned up all the carbs, they've all been converted to sugar and used, you get massive cravings of hunger looking for more carbohydrates, more sugars. You feel that famished. When you're on a keto-based diet, your body, as long as you have some body fat for it to burn, a significant amount of body fat for it to burn, it's going to say, all right, well, there's no more fat in the stomach, there's no more fat in the intestines, let's burn this other fat around the body. Use the ketones to burn that. It'll burn them both the same. So what's happening for me right now is I can go 12, 14 hours, 16 hours without eating. And my stomach's empty. You can tell your stomach's empty. You get that little, throw a little bit of water in there and you can tell it's sloshing around. There's that little hunger of the empty stomach, but there's no cravings, there's no famish, there's no ravenous I need to eat, because while your stomach's empty, you still have the energy production, you have the nutrient, the ketones producing the energy you need to still function through your body fat. So that is why I have chosen this path for me to go down. And that is what I'm going to be documenting on this new channel. It's going to be this process of the combination, the intermittent fasting, the ketosis, the ketones, how everything's going to break out. And I'm interested to see if other people want to go down this journey with me, want to either share in it, perhaps do their own personality, their own takes on it, offer their advice, their opinions, see what it is I have to say, kind of work as a lab rat, a guinea pig, in order to show you guys how it is working. And that is the plan for the other channel. I haven't quite decided on a name yet. I think Gamer Nutrition is going to be where I'm going with it. It might be EFG Gamer Nutrition or Gamer Nutrition EFG, just to tie the two channels together a little bit. Or maybe whatever. If you do have a name, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be interested in hearing about it. There's some good things out there, but I'm not the best with coming up with names for this stuff. But let me know what you guys think. The new channel is going to be going up here in the next 24, 48 hours. I'm going to record 5 or 6 videos here today and tomorrow in order to set the background, the initial science, some of the basic points of everything. So there's going to be an initial dump of information coming out. But this is going to be the only one going on the EFG channel. If you're interested in the other stuff, check the description below. There I will have a link to the new channel once it is created. And hopefully you'll join me over there and we'll see how things go. So that's where we stand. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But until next time, this has been Powler. Thanks for watching.